6 months after Keith Mercer's arrest, Sarah sat in her therapist's office, hands clasped tightly in her lap. The prosecutor called yesterday, she said quietly. They found connections to 7 other cases across 3 states. Women who thought they were experiencing paranormal activity or losing their minds. Some he watched for nearly a year before, escalating. The trial had revealed Mercer's methodical process, how he'd worked for a real estate company that specialized in renovating older homes, giving him access to dozens of properties. He would create hidden living spaces during renovations, then monitor open houses to select women who lived alone. His defense attorney had tried to position him as mentally ill, but the detailed journals proved premeditation. "I still can't sleep without checking every corner, every closet," Sarah admitted. "Last week, I heard a noise in my new apartment and spent the entire night sitting against the door with a knife." What she didn't tell her therapist was about the letter that had arrived the previous day, a standard notification that all victims received when their case had a significant update. Mercer had attacked a guard during transport to a psychiatric evaluation, escaping custody during the ensuing chaos. Despite a multi-state manhunt, he remained at large. Sarah had installed every security device available in her new ground-floor apartment. Yet as darkness fell each evening, the same thought haunted her. Mercer had her address from the court documents. And worse, he had told the prosecutor during one interview, "She was special. I invested the most time in her." That night, as Sarah triple-checked her locks before bed, her phone chimed with a notification from her security system. Front door motion detected. On her screen appeared a familiar face, staring directly into the camera. As her fingers fumbled to dial 911, a text message arrived from an unknown number. "I've missed watching you sleep." The psychological evaluation that followed Walter Kemp's death revealed dimensions to the case that transformed Michael's understanding of his family history. Kemp's journal, spanning 30 years, detailed a relationship with the Reeves family that was far more complex than simple employment. "Your grandfather promised Walter the land in exchange for helping cover up a hunting accident in 1967, Detective Simmons explained during their final interview. "A hiker was killed, and your grandfather, then a prominent judge, would have faced manslaughter charges. Walter disposed of the body and expected payment, but your grandfather died before transferring the property. Your father continued employing him, apparently out of guilt." The underground dwelling beneath the tool shed contained photographs of 3 generations of Reeves men, including Michael as a child, playing in the woods while Walter watched unseen from the shadows. Most disturbing was a collection of items Walter had taken from the cabin over decades, including toys Michael had believed lost as a child. Michael sold the property immediately, unable to bear its contaminated memories. Yet something about the cabin called to him, appearing in his dreams. 6 months later, drawn by an inexplicable compulsion, he returned one final time to collect remaining personal items. As he approached the cabin, he noticed something odd. Smoke rising from the chimney, though the property stood vacant. Inside, he found the deed Walter had presented that night, now fully signed with what appeared to be his father's signature, dated the day after his father's death. Beside it lay his father's watch, ticking steadily. The cabin door slammed shut behind him as the fireplace suddenly roared to life, illuminating the walls now covered with photographs of Michael, hundreds taken through windows over recent months, showing him in his university office, at restaurants, outside his therapist's building. None of the photos could have been taken by Walter. Someone was continuing his work. The Wilson Protocol, as it came to be known in cybersecurity circles, revolutionized protective algorithms by identifying patterns previously deemed too subtle for detection. What most participants at the conference didn't realize as Amara presented her findings was how personal the development had been. The profile analysis revealed Reed had targeted 17 women before me. Amara explained to the audience of security professionals. 3 are still missing. His method was consistent. Establish electronic access first, physical access second, and psychological conditioning third. By the time most victims realized something was wrong, they'd already been subtly drugged through contaminated food and water for weeks. What Amara didn't share publicly was how Reed had nearly succeeded with her. After his arrest in her apartment building's security center, investigators discovered an elaborate plan to stage her suicide after weeks of manipulating her digital footprint to suggest deteriorating mental health. The unseen files on his computer included a folder labeled Aftercare, containing detailed instructions for assuming her identity online following her disappearance, maintaining her social media, and work emails to delay any missing person investigation. Most chilling was Reed's psychological evaluation, which revealed his belief that he was improving his victims by merging his consciousness with theirs through technological and chemical means. He viewed smart homes not as security risks, but as ideal environments for what he called the perfection process. Though Reed was now imprisoned, Amara knew the case had fundamentally changed her relationship with technology. Aura remained active in her apartment, but she had modified it extensively, creating protocols no commercially available system offered, specifically designed to detect the patterns Reed had exploited. The audience applauded as Amara concluded her presentation, unaware that her smartwatch was currently displaying a notification only she could see. Unauthorized access attempt detected. Prison Network Terminal B7. Reed might be incarcerated, but someone using his methods was still trying to reach her systems. The digital hunter had become the hunted,